up, guys? Prince Sports here. Got the Punisher shirt. Alright, check this out. You guys all know Isaiah Thomas for saying a lot of crazy stuff, right? But let's just take this back to 1998. During a live game in the NBA Finals, Isaiah Thomas, for years, said Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. Okay, a couple years go by. He says LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, and Kareem is the greatest basketball player of all time. Okay? Now he says when LeBron James retires, LeBron James is going to surpass Kareem and be the greatest basketball player of all time. But in 1998 and years after that, you said Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player to ever play, but Kareem was already retired before Jordan. So if you actually believed Kareem was better than Jordan and he was the GOAT, shouldn't you have said that a long time ago? That's not making that much sense now, is it? Okay, so then let's go back to the present. Now he says his same soliloquy of, LeBron James could do it all. He pulls up every stat in the book, all right? Now, we all know LeBron James is a stat stuffer. He's basically a walking triple-double sometimes, but you got to put that in context, okay? It's not always stat building due to contents of a basketball game or due to flow of a basketball game. Some of it is, just from the fact that you're just holding on to the ball too long, all right? Stats, just like Wilt Chamberlain has, don't equate to winning all the time, okay? You can have a bunch of stats and still lose. Ask James Harden. Ask Wilt Chamberlain, underachieved. Ask Jerry West, underachieved. Ask LeBron James, underachieved. Even though he got 3 chips, he arguably should have had more, right? That's the narrative around that. He should have had more. But man, Isaiah Thomas is a whole shit bag of Kanye West crazy. I mean, I don't understand where this guy get his wisdom from, or where he gets his ideas from. So I started to think maybe at first when he was saying Jordan wasn't a GOAT, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. But then as time go by, I said, you know what? He's a bad boy Piston. And it's just part of him to constantly hate on Michael Jordan or has some personal beef against Michael Jordan, okay? There's no buts, ifs about it, okay? If you think for a minute that Isaiah Thomas thinks LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, then I got a bridge in Brooklyn that I could sell you, okay? There's no way, no shape, no how that he thinks even Kareem is the greatest basketball player, because if he did, he would have been said that, okay? So, in a quote that he said his typical stuff, who taught this guy how to play basketball? He's the Einstein of basketball. Well, if he's the Einstein of basketball, then he wouldn't have disappeared in so many fourth quarters. If he's the Einstein of basketball, he wouldn't have just 3 championships in 17 years by now, right? So, you got to put stuff in context, okay? You can sit there and say, oh, it's because he didn't have stacked teams. Or he had mismatches in the finals and this and that. Bro, what happened. It's just that. History shows that you lost 6 times in the finals. This is just what it is, all right? Now, I'm not going to completely hold that against LeBron James, but he got 3 championships. And at the end of the day, it's about winning championships. He may be getting his 4th one this year. But you got to put stuff in context. So then he goes on to say stuff like, Kareem's still the greatest basketball player of all time, but when LeBron retires, he's going to be the greatest. He may have some of the greatest stats, I give him that, but at the end of the day, man, stats don't always say that you're the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan isn't number 1 in a lot of statistical categories, but yet we still say he's the greatest basketball player of all time. You know why? Because from beginning to end, from both sides of the floor, from simple standpoint of winning, Nobody did it better than Michael Jordan. Nobody had a better superstar career than Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. At least that's in my opinion. But there's nothing wrong with saying that LeBron James is the GOAT. There's nothing wrong saying Kareem is the GOAT. But please, people, let's have some content to some of the things we say. People use the word GOAT too loosely. People use the word greatest of all time. You know, they'll call Alex Caruso the greatest of all time if he had just one dunk. All right? Let's get a little hold and hold that term a little higher, okay, than what it's supposed to be. What is your criteria for ranking somebody the greatest of all time? Just don't say it for the point of just saying it. You know what I mean? Prince Sports out. Keep it 3000 real 1,000. Peace, y'all.
Jeez.